Well, hello everybody, and welcome to the show today. Today on Night Owls, we're going to be talking about UFOs, as they say over here in Japan, instead of UFOs. But they don't know what it stands for. It's okay. It's pretty standard here, Booster. They don't really know anything. It's just, ooh, the
Oh,
West likes it. We're going to put it on a shirt.
UFOs. So,
UFOs.
oh shit, you got me in to discuss UFOs with you? Oh no.
Well, we're going to be doing that on TFT segment at the end of the show.
You got
But
the most ignorant co-host to come discuss UFOs.
well, that's okay. I went and did my due diligence and put together a slideshow. Of course.
I believe
Uh,
Darrow's here by then to discuss UFOs.
well, it's his request, so he better be.
Where
So,
the hell is he?
I don't know. He'll be in though. Let me come over here and hit the share button and the like button. I hope you guys are doing the same. That definitely helps us out. So we can,
All those buttons, baby.
yeah, hit the buttons for sure. But hit that definitely like. I can't do Twitter anymore, although YouTube seems to be doing it automatically. So rock on. But yeah, I don't know what's going on with these SNSs, man. Do you?
It's an SNSs. What is an SNS? What are you saying to me?
Social network systems.
Who the fucks is that?
Everybody outside the English speaking world.
I hate that. Never say that to me again.
I fight for fair enough. But yeah, no, the social media, how's that? Is
Yeah, you talk about the social medias.
yeah, the social medias. They're kind of weird. They're a little bit
The
weird.
MySpace and the what have you.
Yeah, that one. Yeah, I remember the
Yeah,
MySpaces. And
and Bebo.
yeah. I see we got Eric Hawk in here. I don't know why he's not over here with us in here. He should
Where the
be in here.
fuck aren't you in here,
I
Eric?
know, dude, Eric. God, man. Anyway, before we get into it, give Thunder a little bit of time. Of course, give the chat a little bit of time. We know how YouTube is and how slow they are. But we do got Eric in here, Lady Celtic Moon, Comic Book Bob. Hey, dude, haven't talked to you in a while. Ryu Thulu and Dave. Ooh, Dave's in here. He says Sumo.
Oh,
Oh,
Dave.
fair enough.
Sumo!
Fair enough.
Sumo wrestling.
Could you be a sumo, like in the ultralight class?
I'm way too tiny.
Yeah, I know you are.
Does not matter? Like if I'm just a scrunchy, squashed up little boy,
Well,
will they let me sumo? Will they let me beat up children, Jester?
they will. Yes. It's illegal here in Japan. But
It's legal to beat children?
it of course, yeah.
I have to go
But
over immediately.
immediately you do. The interesting thing about sumo, though, there are no weight classes, so
Oh.
it's open ended. And we've had a couple people. I think the one that comes to my mind quickly would be Mainomi. Mainomi was it's well, about 20, 25 years ago, I guess. But Mainomi is a little guy, and but he was badass. But yeah, they have no weight classes, no restrictions, so you can, you get in there, do what you want to do, which is kind of why you get a lot of the Polynesians and some of the Northeast or the Baltic Europeans have kind of gotten into sumo and they do quite well because they're big,
So I'm
strong,
allowed to just like grab people and roll around with them and cuddle and everything.
right? You can
Like with
grab
fat people,
balls, you
and
can
people will
slap.
watch me do that.
Yes, they will. Yes,
Hmm.
and literally throw money at you
Yeah.
like a stripper.
Oh,
Mm.
like a dirty little man.
Yes. But we don't need to talk about sumo. I never care for it much. Some people love it though, and it's interesting the amount of foreigners that like it. I don't know why. It's a bunch of fat guys slapping each other. What's the point? Anyway, Xzorn six six
Isn't that
six.
wrestling?
What? That's kind of wrestling. Yeah, that's a very demonic name you got there, Xzorn. I use Booster's toothbrush because sharing is caring. Oh,
Man,
yeah.
I fucking not have.
You upset? I mean,
I will come over there.
true equality. That's right.
Roommate,
That's right.
fucking threatening me with my own toothbrush.
That's your roommate?
Jesus, sounds violent.
Xzorn 666. Damn.
Oh, I don't even joke about that. I have a very strong gag reflex.
Aw.
Ugh.
I was
Very
drinking.
angry.
You gotta kill me. What are you doing? Rachel said Hawaiians like to go sumo to get the sumo on too. I did say Polynesian. Do I need to dumb down my dictionary again, Eric? Again?
Yeah, probably. You know how we are.
Oh, Jesus.
Hmm.
I mean, isn't Polynesian kind of a standardly known name, though? A
I
word? I
thought it
mean,
was. Yeah,
yeah.
for
At
a
one
while now.
time, yeah, sure.
Oh, okay. So I have to take into account the millennials then. That's what you're
Yes.
saying. I have to account the millennials.
The little boys.
All right, fine. Anyway, hey Eric, how you doing, dude?
But I usually only come in on Monday nights because I'm not smart enough to follow the topics on Sunday nights.
Oh, okay, that's all right. No one is.
That doesn't. Yeah,
But
what
it's
makes you coming in then?
UFOs,
You got
so
me coming
I'll
in, so
yeah, well, yeah.
I'm not
We'll
afraid.
see
I'll
if I
just go.
can contribute any, but I don't know. I believe in UFOs. I believe.
Oh, there you go. Well, we're gonna have a conversation at the end of the show with a TFT segment, but I think I've set up the presentation in such a way that it'll be easy to give your opinion. So,
Oh,
um,
cool.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Fat guys slapping each other is actually a thing. Joshua says, "Yep, yeah, it is.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, it is." Hostess, I don't know what that is, but Bob, I'm not repeating it though. I know that much. How you doing, Erica? Have you had yourself a good weekend and you're all well rested? And did you eat something? I got coffee. It's a beautiful day.
Yeah. So today's Mother's Day in the States.
Yay!
Most of the kids came over to celebrate with my wife, the ones that are here, or they called if they're not here. I smoked ribs and made some
Ooh,
pork steaks and corn on the cob and
nice.
stuff like that.
And
Potato
you didn't
salad.
invite
My
me, huh?
daughter brought
No,
some.
no, that's cool. I don't mind.
Oh, I tried, but I think it'll be cold by the time you get here.
No, it's fine. I don't
Yeah.
mind.
So we had a good day. Most of the grandkids were here and everything. It was pretty cool.
Oh,
I mean,
that's.
an invite would have just been nice.
Oh, poor Booster. He don't get no smoked barbecue at all. But yeah, no, you got a big, huge family too, so that's always a lot of fun.
Whew,
Um,
yeah, no kidding. Whew.
Yeah. Well, they technically have Mother's Day over here, I guess, but it's mainly a commercial opportunity. I think my daughter called yesterday.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, the boy doesn't remember those things very much, but you can't expect
Yeah,
him to, you know.
You need to beat
but
him.
it's his sister's responsibility to remind him.
It is. It is. That is fair enough. Fair enough. But he's busy boy over there studying and doing whatever else he's doing. It's kind of interesting. He's quite different than me, Eric. He's quite a monogamous fellow. He's had like three girlfriends, I think, and they just kind of for a long time. Sheesh. When I was at his age in university, I was, well, I won't say it, we use the word, but I was playing the field.
You were
Well, I'd
shagging
say
around. I get
I
it. Yeah.
was,
yeah,
yeah.
you didn't have girlfriends. You had hookups.
I had both. I did have both. Yeah. Uh, I've actually never sat and tried to calculate it, do the math on it. I would have to do like a
No.
ratio, I think.
Oh
But
boy.
yeah, yeah, we're he and I are different. He's much more, I think, conservative and a good young man, unlike
He
myself.
doesn't want an STD like his dad. I got it.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Yeah.
Thundera, what's going on, dude?
Nothing much, gentlemen. How are we today?
Well, we're talking about STDs, as you should.
Good. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's awesome. Yeah,
Yeah.
I recommend it. Yeah.
So, how was your weekend? Did you do anything for Mother's Day?
No.
No.
Oh.
I don't have a mother
I
anymore.
know that, but your wife might.
Yeah, but they don't really do anything. I don't know. I asked her if we're doing anything for Mother's Day for her mom, and she said no because all of the men don't work, so all the women have to do all the work. So we just stopped doing it. I was like, okay.
That is exactly why we leave town for Thanksgiving. Because none of the kids would help with anything. They come over, eat, sit and watch TV, don't help clean up, don't help cook anything. So we started leaving town, let them fend for themselves.
Yeah, well, there you go. There you go. Well, there is another side to that argument, though, because I have seen many times in my life men go into the kitchen on, say, Thanksgiving or other times and try to give some assistance and literally get kicked out by the women. So,
Yeah.
yeah, I don't want to hear it. But yeah, yeah. But the good thing for Mother's Day for women, though, is you also get Father's Day because these days, Father's Day is all about the mothers. So, you get 2 days. I mean,
Hmm.
that's pretty awesome, dude.
Oh, yeah.
So many days.
Why is Booster playing a tuba?
I'm not. I'm not playing a tuba. I don't know how to play the tuba.
I heard
But
a
if I
tuba.
did, I wouldn't let you.
Oh,
I
I
wouldn't let
see.
you see it.
Uh,
Wouldn't
uh,
let you see my tuba.
Eric is playing the tuba.
Let me put my phone on silent because apparently it's vibrating on my drafting desk too
Oh,
loudly.
is that the
Yeah,
tuba I'm
on your
hearing? A
disc. Yeah, buddy,
vibration?
I
Yeah.
get
Oh
it.
God. Okay. All right.
Yeah,
Fine.
that's where vibrations go.
Yeah. Okay. But anyway, guys, we do got a bunch of things to talk to and get into today. One of which is we're doing a TFT today. We will be talking about the full disclosure upcoming from the government in June, so that should be interesting. But before I do jump over and start doing the news, anybody have anything they want to talk about or cover beforehand?
Yeah,
Okay,
I like Far Cry 5.
you do. You didn't like
Yeah.
Far Cry 4 or 3 or 2?
I did,
You did. You like Far
but
Cry.
I'm playing 5 now.
Oh, you are. And what's the theme of that one? I know the one before was like in the Philippines or Indonesia or something. Where are you now?
Yeah. I'm in Redneck City.
Oh, that's the one that has to get the conservatives, get them Republican ones.
Uh,
That one. Yeah.
no, the cult leaders. There
Oh
are
yeah.
plenty of good guy conservatives in this as well, and a
Oh,
good
you
guy
do. That's
Christian.
good. Because I know it was
Yeah.
catching flack for that kind of thinking. But
No, it actually caught a lot of flack from the leftists for not being what they wanted it to be.
well, they thought it was going to be a one thing, and it turned out to be another thing.
Exactly.
We're
It's just
starting
a
to
that.
normal video game about killing cult members. Wholesome.
Aw. Oh well.
For the whole family.
You know.
Whole family just.
And I think most of us kind of don't have much trouble with the killing of cult members. I think we're all pretty
No,
okay with it.
we're I'm okay with that.
Sounds like a reasonable
And-
solution.
Yeah.
And there are a lot of black cultists, Chester. That's one reason they hated it. They thought it was going to be about white supremacists, but it wasn't.
Oh well, there's you know who the most cultish people on the planet are? Do you know? I
Don't
mean,
say it.
humans in general. But who?
Oh,
You know
no, it's not the Jubases, is it?
No. Well, no, they're quite
Okay.
fanatic about a single cult, right? But I meant just cultism being widespread throughout the whole culture. I think a lot of people might
Don't
not
say it.
might realize this. Well, it's Korea.
Oh,
Korea has thousands and thousands of cults, and they're kind of crazy. I mean, the Asians in general tend to lean more toward cults quicker than Westerners do, although not by much. But Koreans take the cake, man. They are incredibly cultish.
They had some cult over there that was planning on purposefully spreading COVID and
Mhm.
doing all kinds of crazy stuff like that all over the world to kill as many
Good
people as
God.
possible.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
wonderful cults.
I just like
Joshua
shooting
says
people
he
in the
might
face
have a
with a bow
problem
and
with.
arrow.
Oh, there you go. But Joshua says he might have a problem with killing cultists. I guess that means Joshua's a cultist. Uh-oh.
Yeah. He's in the cult of
Yeah,
Raven.
Cult of Raven. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, they
That
They
thing
gotta
is
go.
still going
They
for some
gotta
reason,
go.
Chester. I don't
They-
know why that gimmick's still going, but it's still going.
I
so
don't
we
either.
keep
That's
it up.
about 3 years now.
That's dedication.
It is dedication, dude.
I can appreciate that.
Hail Raven, he says. Damn. Yeah, because
Mm.
I've seen a
There you
couple
go,
of
still going.
Ravenites show up here recently. It is creepy. Yeah, it's creepy.
It is weird, but we got to humor them, or all they're powerful.
Did they at least have get to have like the whole sex cult thing going on? They got that at least.
No, there are no babes there.
Oh damn.
Oh.
That's unfortunate.
There are 0 babes in the Cult of Raven. It's brutal.
Because that's about
That
the
would
only.
be the cult of Furry Raven. For the sex.
Oh, that's the other one. I see.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that's about the only reason I join a cult is for the free ladies.
For the babes,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that's how you got to sell me. So but those days are over, Eric. Long ago.
Mm. Yeah.
Long ago.
Yeah. Except for Booster, he can go get all the babes he wants. Why aren't you
I don't want
babing
any
it up?
babes. I want any babes, just I want to be loved.
Oh, God.
I'm not,
What's
Booster,
wrong with you people?
I'm not talking about love at all, Booster. I don't know what you're on about. What do you mean what's wrong with that's just a normal red-blooded American thinking.
Love is way overrated. Let me
No,
tell
it's
you.
not. Oh God, you're horrible.
Is your wife in the room?
No, but you want me to? She'll come in here and say the exact same thing. Love is way overrated.
Hmm.
Wow.
But it will keep us together.
Yeah, but sometimes that's a terrible idea.
Joshua says there used to be babes. Aw.
I might have scared them all away. I think
You probably did. That's true.
I probably scared all the babes.
I, Zorn says he joined for the blood sacrifices. Sweet. All right.
Oh my god,
Uh,
you need Jesus. We're going to church tomorrow. I
blood
don't
and
care if it's a Tuesday.
titties. All right, there we go. All right, let me go ahead and get into this and set this up because we definitely got some things to talk about. So let's get it going.
Get in there,
Going
you
on.
rascally devil man.
There we go. All righty, and so these guys can see what I'm doing. And all right, let's bring this back up so we can see this. And let's go. All right. Now, you guys, of course, can see what I'm looking at. The guys can look at it as too. You guys know I like to start night owls talking about board games, and I've talked a little bit about places you can go check out board games in mass with Board Game Geek. I've showed a lot of individual board games and talked about them, but of course that's an exhaustive list. So I thought today I would maybe it would be better just to kind of highlight or showcase a single creator. And this is Z-Man Games webpage. And I thought I would take a look at some of the games they create. Now, I'm a fan of Z-Man Games. There are many good companies. I like this company, though, because we have had some companies really try to lean into the little bit of the wokeness. Board games have not escaped the nonsense, unfortunately. But in general, Z-Man has always made a good family-friendly, solid mechanic board games that you could play with anybody. And that's one of the great things about board games. It's you sit down at a table with a group of people and you could play a game together. And I think in general, board games should be kind of middle of the road-ish. There are some that are very specific to a genre here or there. Some might be more adult or more hedonistic if you want to like to go that way. But in general, board games should be something that's general. Everyone can sit down and enjoy, family-oriented entertainment. And Z-Man Games does that really well. So let's take a look. Have you guys ever heard of Z-Man Games?
Nope.
Nope.
No. Okay. Well, you probably heard of their games though. First and foremost, up here on the top, of course, we have Pandemic, and I've talked about this game a little bit. It's gone from
Oh, I've heard of
Very
that one. Yeah.
topical.
Okay.
I'm very familiar with that at the moment.
well, yeah, but
Well, I'm not, but you know.
well, yeah, but I mean, this game's been going on for quite a while, and it's very popular, and it's even gone into legacy games where basically it's a story and you play the game once and you're done. You never play it again, which sounds weird, but if you understand the board gaming world, it's not. But for the casual observer, maybe those legacy games aren't for you. But Pandemic is a great game. It's probably the most famous game. It's in the top 10 list all the time. It is a great game, it's a lot of fun, and I've talked about it already. Carcassonne is one I have not talked about yet, however. I love Carcassonne, and Carcassonne is one of these games where it's a kind of a deck building game, and you're trying to create your own little village and castle build up, and kind of you're competing against other people. This is a deck building game where you're actually competing instead of being cooperative. It's fun. The Love Letter franchise is a quick little thing. I think the Soy Boys and the SJWs probably adore this. I imagine if you go to any Starbucks, you would see this on the table somewhere, right? But it actually is a fun little game. I've only played a digital version of it. It's not something I would own, but for a quick little party game, it's fun. You guys ever heard of Carcassonne or Love Letter?
No.
Yeah, yeah. It's not a bad game though. This right here is great. This series here, we got Mice and Mystics, and all these other things are just expansions to it. But Mice and Mystics is a little board game where the idea is a group of prisoners have been turned into mice by a evil wizard, and you're trying to save the kingdom, right? By crossing the courtyard, basically, right? And notifying the king of what's going on, something like that. But it's basically a tabletop board game where you have miniatures, you're moving through dungeons and various encounters. It's a lot of fun, and this is a great game if you have kids. I mean, this is kids will love that. The miniatures are cute. The idea is fun. It's a little scary, but it's not too overboard. This is a wonderful family game to have, especially if you have kids. You guys ever heard of this one?
Nope.
Nope.
Yeah.
No.
Well, This out of all the Z-Man games, I think this is probably the best game, and it is absolutely awesome. You guys should definitely check it out. It's a bit pricey though. Mesozoic, never played this one, but because it's Z-Man, it must be good. Citadels, love this game. This is another kind of castle-based game where you have cards and you're doing a deck building thing. I
Oh,
love
didn't we
this
play
game.
this at one point?
We probably did, yeah, on the tabletop simulator. Yeah, it's a great, fun
Didn't
little
I
game.
beat
It's
you at it?
quick. You might have, yeah. I mean,
Because I'm
everybody.
kind of an epic gamer.
You probably are an epic gamer. Stone Age is
Mm.
a resource management game, and you're collecting resources and building things. This is a really good game. Stone Age is a great game, and as you see, they even have a kids version. It was my first Stone Age. It's very nice. Merchants and Marauders. This is a very in-depth, complicated game. It's going to take you a couple hours to play, 3 hours maybe, but it is. Yeah, I'd say this is an adult game, not because of theme, just because of complication. But it is fun though. It is a good game. This right here, The Voyages of Marco Polo, is my wife's favorite game.
Oh yeah, I played Marco Polo.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, Marco.
Oh yeah,
Polo.
yeah, that one too.
Marco.
Polo.
uh, yeah, Mice and Mystics look great. Watch the game at the LGS. Zorn says, "Yeah, it is. It's a really fun game, and if you got kids, it's something because you're telling a story together, and they can be these heroes that are being turned into mice. And each game, the kid's going to play the same character, of course, and they're really fun. Mice and Mystics is great. But Voyages of Marco Polo is another resource management or resource gathering game, I would say.
Wait, that was a dude?
Yeah, it was a dude. Yeah, but like I said,
Holy
this is my
shit.
wife's favorite, and this is a lot of fun. This game is a little interesting because it uses dice in a different way. You on your turn,
Was he known for swimming and or saying polo when someone else says Marco?
neither. Yeah, but
Then
this.
and how does any of that connect? I don't get it.
Yeah, I'm not going to get into the history of the Marco Polo swimming game. Anyway, but the interesting thing in your turn, you roll the dice, but those dice are then used during your turn to gather resources. And if you put a 5 on something or a 2 on something, it'll give you a different amount. So it adds a really interesting element of resource collecting, and it uses dice in a very different way. Omniverse is a very fun, quick little tabletop card game, and these are all kind of connected in the similar thing. They're kind of like a dreamscape thing. And Cacao, I've never played, but it's another kind of resource management, area management game that's very, very popular. So as you see, looking at Z-Man games here, everything here is a hit. There are no failures in the list. And I'd say that's pretty impressive for this company. Now they have some other games as well that maybe not as well known, but they all did well as also. But just making a suggestion to you guys. Always trying to promote board games here, and there's some really good games here you might want to check out. Marco Polo is absolutely excellent. Stone Age is excellent. They're a little longer though. Citadel, quick game, fun game, cheap. It's actually comes in a very small box. Mice and Mystics is a much more of a cost investment because it is expensive game because a lot of little plastic, a lot of things. But if you got kids, man, they will adore it. Love Letter is super cheap. It's like I don't know, it's like an Uno deck size. Carcassonne, very famous. You're actually building tiles out in this game. It's kind of interesting. Of course, Pandemic's one of the most famous games of all time, especially after
Well,
the European
so,
invasion. Yeah.
some of these you can find at your local Target. 'Cause I know I've seen Pandemic and a
Oh
couple
yeah.
of the other ones. If you're in the States, you can find them at your local Target. So
Oh yeah. No,
check them
absolutely.
out. And Target has a huge selection of really good games now. Compared, used to be just the Milton Bradley and Parker Brothers. Now it's all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, no, and I'm glad because when I was a kid, we played Parcheesi, we played Monopoly, we
Yeah, yeah.
played Life, Operation Mouse Trap, I think it was called. Um,
Mousetrap, yeah.
yeah, and that's fine. Those are fine, but they're very simplistic and they were really built for kids
Right.
in mind. And the adults just kind of had to, okay, we're going to deal with it because Wednesday night was board game night, right? The modern
Mhm.
games, they service both. They're fun for the kids, but they're also something the adults can enjoy. And board games are a great thing. And the reason why it's having such a resurgence is because, video games are fun, but in the end, you're playing by yourself. I mean, you are alone, right? In general, board games, you're not. You're sitting down at a table. You're learning social skills. You're using your brain, especially these more modern games because they're not just roll the dice and go. You have to make
Right.
decisions. You got to think about it, right? I promote it, and I know a lot of people listening have kids, and you should be playing games with your kids. You really should, because even if they complain and don't want say I don't want to do it or whatever, make them. They are your kids. You make the decisions, not them. Anyway,
And make them. That's that's the moral of the story.
yeah, make them,
Make them.
Much. Yeah.
dude. Way too many people ask
No
their
matter how
children.
much they don't want it.
I'm just telling you, Booster. A lot of people ask their children's opinion, and I don't know what the hell they're doing. I mean, it's fine
That is
if
a
your kid
terrible
wants to
idea.
play soccer or baseball. That's fine, but no, the kid doesn't get a choice. They do this or do that.
They
They're,
have,
you're,
they have terrible ideas all the time.
they do. Yeah, I mean, your child should be doing a sport. If they're not doing a sport, get them in a sport. I mean, they're growing
Well,
bodies.
Billy,
They
do you
they
think
should
you're
be doing it.
secretly a girl? Tell me. Yeah, I want to be a princess.
Well, then go be a field hockey princess then, right? Anyway, but moving on. But Z-Man Games, great company. They always put out good products, and they're easy to communicate with too. If you have any problems, it's just a really solid game company, and I think they deserve your attention. Anyway, moving on, getting into the first bit of conversations before we get to our TFT. So, boom. Go ahead, Booster.
What we have over here, American Psycho author Bret Easton Ellis says that his best-selling novel would not be published today on account of being too problematic for feminists.
All right.
And Psycho author, oh, I was gonna say American Psycho. I was thinking Psycho, wasn't that from the '60s? I was
Yeah,
being a
yeah.
silly buggies there.
Yeah, yeah. Well, American Psycho, of course, the movie version was done by Christian Bale, and it's a very good movie. It's
Mhm.
a psychological drama. It can be quite bloody, but in the end, you don't even know if he actually ever killed anybody, right? Because a lot of it's in his head. It's about a guy going crazy, really, and the
Mhm.
pressures of the modern, corporate world, and what does it all mean? There's a lot of dialogue and in-depth looking at the culture of money and commerce and success. Is really what the book is kind of delving
Do
into.
you relate to it, Chester?
On occasion, sure. Um, but it's actually was a really good book. The movie I thought was good. It wasn't. I thought the book was better, but that's kind of normal, I think. But the movie
I
wasn't
just think
bad.
we should make a book called Gaijin Psycho.
Gaijin Psycho. Yeah, why not, right? But I kind of I saw this one. I know this isn't something I normally talk about, but because I do know this novel, I thought I would give my opinion on it. And first things first, anybody over in the chat or here in the panel, any of you guys ever read the book or maybe just saw the movie?
I saw the movie, but it must have been ages ago.
Yeah, it was a while back. Yeah, Eric.
I never even saw the movie.
Okay, it is a pretty solid
Yeah.
flick. Thundero,
I've always heard that, but never watched it.
What movie?
American Psycho, Christian Bale.
Nope, never seen it.
Okay. Well, let me give my 2 cents, and then you guys, say what you want. Now, I get in this article here, he's explaining why the feminists wouldn't like it, and he's going on about it. But I don't agree with the writer. I don't know if that means anything, but I actually think the feminists would love this movie because it's about a man losing his damn mind, right?
Mm-hmm.
And there is some violence toward women, but there's violence toward men too. He is an equal opportunity
You know they
murderer.
don't. You know they don't care about that.
No, of course they don't care about any of it. They just want to make noise. But I'm just saying that he kills. I think in the end, I think it's in his mind. But he
Mhm.
kills plenty of people in it, of all gender. He's not a rapist; he's just a murderer. But it's mainly more the pressures of his life breaking down his mind is really what the movie is about. It's psychological, and here's one where nail guns are used. That's nice. But just
Nice.
the horrible, evil people in his life. He's imagining getting rid of them, and they show it as if it's really happening in the movie, of course. And and in the end, he's probably the most vapid and useless of them all, which is the ironic twist of it. But I liked the book. So the movie was fine. I'm a Christian Bale fan. I think he does a great job in this. But I just don't agree with the writer. I think feminists might love this movie because it shows a man at his weakest point. And isn't that what they want? Aren't they ultimately want men on their knees? And that's kind of what this movie's all about.
You're asking them to understand context.
Am I? Yeah, I should do that.
Yeah, and they don't care about context if they can't bend it to their will. They will just see Christian Bale kill a bunch of women and go, "Meh." And that's all they care about.
I'm not sure if he killed. I think he killed more men actually, if I remember correctly.
Again, they don't care about that, do they?
I suppose not.
You're trying to play logic games with the illogical.
That's fair. It's fair. It's fair. I just thought it was interesting that the author had an opinion on that. And maybe you're right. Maybe he is right. But I would suggest, if you haven't seen American Psycho, go check it out. It's a bit bloody, but I mean, of course, as you would expect, American Psycho.
Psycho in the title. You'd hope it's bloody.
But it's an interesting story because, like I said, in the end, you have to make the decision: did anything actually happen? And I think in the end, there might have been maybe one murder, maybe. But you make that decision yourself. I think mainly it's in his head. It's more about a dialogue on the corporate world itself. Whereas the Wolf of Wall Street just looks at it from a very degenerate point of view. I think this looks at it from a more psychological point of view. But you guys don't seem interested in it at all, so I'll move on.
No, it's a movie I've never seen, so no, I'm not interested in talking about it.
Yeah. I think it was a good movie for looking at that corporate world because the corporate world creates some pretty nasty humans, right? By its nature,
Mhm.
it's so overly competitive. You have to, if you're a nice guy, nice lady, you're not going to succeed in that world. You have to be, it is dog eat dog, and you have to be that way. And it also explains why when we see these big corporations that do these outrageously horrible things to the bulk of humanity, like say Monsanto, well, you can understand it better if you can see the mindset of that world is. And this book or the movie here really illustrates that well. In the point of bringing someone to such a level of delusion that he's considering murdering everyone around him, right? It's a dialogue on the corporate world, and the corporate world needs changing. It really does, because the problem is this whole corporatism, that this ultra oligarchy that we're looking at becoming a real live thing here today. That's not good for our future, because if that kind of mentality is not conducive to the human condition. And we've seen more comedic takes on it. For instance, RoboCop is a very comedic take on the corporate ladder, right? And the nonsense that goes on within corporations. But anyway, let me move on. It interested me. So, yeah, I'm just being a selfish, Booster. What am I doing? Got it.
What do we have here?
All right, this
This
is
is our Jupiter's Legacy.
sorry, here we go. Yeah.
Alright, Jupiter's Legacy devotes 8 sloggy episodes to asking, should superheroes kill people? Already my opinion on this article is just throw it out because of Polygon, but still, I haven't watched this show yet, have you?
I have. I watched the whole thing. I binged
How
it.
was it?
I have too.
Yeah, you did. Good. How about you, Thunder? Did you watch Jupiter's Legacy?
Nope.
All right. So, well, Eric and I will have an opinion on. You guys will have an opinion too once we kind of lay it out.
I've read the comic.
Yeah, me too. Chester says capitalism is evil. No, I didn't. I say corporatism is evil. Get it right, SJW Joshua. But I read the comic too, and I like the comic book. This is, of course, from Millar, and Millar is the dude who did Kick-Ass, I do believe, right?
That is
Yes.
Mark
correct.
Millar. So it's part of the Millar verse that's Netflix or somebody paid ridiculous amounts of money for. But anyway, I like the comic book fair and well enough. It's a very simple concept. It's looking at I mean, cut away all the mythology. It's basically looking at what it is to be a superhero. And does it make any sense that superheroes don't kill where a soldier would, or that would be the most effective thing? It is kind of looking at that. To be fair, Mark Millar, he's not a very deep writer. I mean, let's be fair. And his stuff is very simplistic and very easy, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. And Jupiter Legacy, I think, is a good example of that. However, that's the comic. The series, the 8 episode series, it followed the comic Booster. But it the themes it did follow, and and I'm going to let Eric give his opinion and let him say what he has to say first. But
Because
uh,
Eric will like it and you will hate it.
well, let's see.
That's
Eric,
what I was thinking too.
Eric, go ahead, Eric.
Damn it, he's setting me up. Okay, so I have not read the comic. I will now look into the comic now that I've seen the series or season one. Hopefully, it gets a season two. We'll see. I liked it. I mean, I ended up watching it all in a day and a half.
Yep.
I enjoyed it. I thought the story was interesting to me. It seemed more, as far as The Boys on Amazon and this on Netflix, similar. Supposed to be not the big two, not Marvel and DC, but superheroes. This one seemed to not have the violence and just the gore just to have the gore,
Mhm.
which I liked. I like The Boys too. I love The Boys, but this was a refreshing difference for me, and I didn't find a lot of wokeness in it. I wasn't looking for it either. Chester probably found some. He probably hated it. I know it's very different or somewhat different from the comic from what I've been reading recently, but I enjoyed it. I look forward to season two, and I kind of hope it's different than the comic because I like one of the characters quite a bit.
Yeah. Okay. Well, it is a bit different.
Eric, you're just wrong.
And Eric, I have to tell you that I loved it.
Oh,
And
awesome!
yeah.
Oh my god! Oh my god! I'm
Yeah,
coming
we
home,
gotta
Elizabeth. I'm coming home.
No, I loved it actually, and I think it's better than The Boys in some ways.
Oh shit.
The first season of The Boys was great. The second season, kiss my ass.
Was
uh,
dog shit.
dog
After the
shit.
second season.
Worst finale of all time.
Yeah.
I'm not going to I'm not going to shine you on. However, the action set pieces in this are few, and they're not great. Particularly the first one. The amount of money they spent on special effects and action stuff is not great. Some of the actors in it who are supposed to be doing action stuff are not very good at actiony. There's no SJW crap in it, what I could see. They did do a little teeny race swap, but it's so minor it doesn't matter. And
Oh
the
yeah, he's a minor character. He's in a freaking wheelchair.
no, he's original.
Oh, he is?
He
Oh,
is,
okay.
yeah.
Then I don't even know what it would
Yeah,
be then.
no, the one that was swapped was the son of Hutchinson's son. He was
Oh, okay.
yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
But it's so minor it doesn't even matter, and he's okay. The real negative, before I give my positives because I loved it, is this: when the
I loved it.
adults.
Here are all the reasons I hated it.
No. I mean, let's be fair, right? And why I loved it. When the adults are on the screen, it's freaking awesome. When the kids are on the screen, it sucks. Luckily, the adults are on the screen most all the time. Therefore, it's really, really good. But the original founders, the older actors that are in this, kick ass. It's great acting. That's why it's better than The Boys. because the acting amongst them is really good across the board, whereas the boys
Yeah.
can be a little knocky here or there. The
Mm.
boys has its positive things too, especially season one. I'm not going to knock it,
Yeah.
but the older actors in this are really really good, and I cannot tell you how pleased I was at the casting because everyone is freaking perfect, dude. With the older cast, they're exactly the right choice for actor to play that character. Not from my from my reading of the comic book. So I was pleased with it. George is awesome. Walt is awesome. Sheldon is awesome. As is Grace. She does a really good job and she holds her own. It's just a really solid bit of acting, and it is a character study show. It's not like The Boys, which has really good CG all over the place. That's not the point. This is a drama, and it's talking about, it's telling us the stories how they got there over eight episodes. I liked it. The twist was good. I knew the twist, but it was good. And I love the thing, man. I think you should go check it out. Just understand when the young
Ah.
people are on the screen, which is nowhere near as much as the older ones, it's not good. And it shows you also a little bit of the mindset. These older actors, these guys are around our age, Eric, and
Yeah.
these guys are actually trained actors who are trying really hard to act. Where the kids, the only thing these young people, these millennial age groups, or the 20, 30 somethings, the only way they know to act is, yeah, I'm a real bitch, and I'm going to be snarky and I'm bitchy. Yeah, take that, old
Yeah, they
man.
think being
Yeah.
quirky
That's
and douchey
exactly.
towards old
Yeah.
people is some kind of personality.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. I mean, that's not a character. And the lady who plays Grace, or Lady Liberty, she demonstrates the inadequacy of these young actors really, really well, because she's a female, but that means nothing. She's a superhero. She's a mom. She has an opinion, and the stress amongst the union is growing, and she loves her husband, right? She supports her husband, who is the utopian you see here on the screen in front of you.
Right.
But she has concerns about how things have changed and how maybe they should start considering maybe actually killing the enemy when it's called for. And that's really
Right.
is the theme. But the reason why you're seeing this so many outlets, and I chose Polygon for a reason. The reason why you're seeing so many of these outlets just absolutely lambaste Jupiter's Legacy is because it tells a narrative that they hate: loving family, having issues, and trying to work through them, right? They don't like
Yeah.
this because this is not a woke thing. Not like they did The Boys. They woke up The Boys in season one. Season two just went out of
Yep.
control. This is not that. This is
Yep.
the story that was told, and it's really good. Now, Booster, what did you
Oh,
think of the comic
I
when
am
you read it?
surprised.
I'm sorry.
You know what's funny? I remember really enjoying it while I was reading it, and I can't remember a thing that happened in it when I think back on it.
Yeah. Well, it's a
So
very
I guess
simple
Chester,
story. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah. I guess I didn't
what was
leave the last
the
impression,
main
but I
bad
still
guy
remember
here?
liking it.
Dark Star or Black Star? Black Star.
Dark Star. Yeah, okay, whichever. The actor that played him, I'd only seen one time before, and that was in the original X-Men movie. He played Sabretooth, Tyler
Yeah.
Mane.
Yeah, that's
I
right.
was surprised he could act.
Yeah, he did a pretty good job. Yeah. I
I
mean,
was shocked.
anybody who's over the age of 35 in this the acting is great. They did a really good job. And the young ones, they can't act themselves out of a wet paper bag, dude. It's
No,
sad.
anytime it was stiff, and it was just it was the same
Just snarky
person,
shit.
just different
Yes.
faces. Yeah,
Yeah, snarky nonsense. And yeah, you're
it
right,
was like
Armron.
Godzilla versus Kong.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
kaiju's and the people. The people are the kids. The kaiju's are the older actors.
Yeah, that's right. That's exactly true. Amaran says that daughter of his couldn't stop fucking in every scene. Yeah, well, that's the point. Her character is shallow and useless. She's just, I hate being a superhero kid. I hate it. That's it. That's her whole character. She has nothing more to her,
I can't
right?
imagine hating being a superhero.
Well,
Maybe because it's fantastical and you can't possibly relate, but still, it sounds awesome.
my daddy wasn't around enough when I was a kid. He was saving people. How dare he? That's basically the
disgusting.
complaint. They can
Oh,
see
I'm
me.
going to be a whore and
You
a
gotta-
drug addict.
Did you watch Invincible, Chester?
Not yet. Not yet. I love the
Then you're
comic
gonna
though.
love Amber.
Why?
He'll see.
Shall we give him a UC, or should we have a little talk about it here from there?
No, he'll see.
Well, it's up.
I
to you.
want his fresh hot take when he watches that show with that character.
You should watch it, Chester. The show is fantastic, and they've swapped events around a bit, but for the most part, it hits all the story beats of the comic just about perfectly. But
You're lying to me.
I'm not lying to you. How they do this show was fantastic. Invincible is a really good show,
It's a good combo.
but there's one character who they've changed, which is Amber, and she's the worst. Like everything they decided they wanted SJW-ish, and they've shoved into this one character.
You mean
And
Monster
she's
Girl?
horrible.
No.
No. That's
Oh,
no. I'm talking about the blonde that Mark loses virginity to. Spoilers.
right. She likes him, but he ends up being. I get it. Yeah, that girl, Amber. Okay. All right. Yeah. Yeah. I'm not surprised. I'm surprised Monster Girl isn't a bitchy little thing that never shuts up.
Mm-hmm.
But you know,
No, she's actually funny.
Yeah,
Actually,
she's a great character.
Yeah, she's not bad at all. No, the two most annoying characters in the show are Mark and Amber. Otherwise,
Mark.
Yeah.
Well,
you'll
why would
see.
I watch it then?
No, trust me, it's worth watching because Omni Man is unfucking believable.
As you should.
They got J.K. Simmons.
J.K. Simmons should just be the voice of every patriarchal character ever, like from now on till the end of time. He's so good. He's so good. Trust me on this. The last 2 episodes of Invincible are the best superhero animated shit I've ever seen. Period. Period.
Ooh.
Yeah, that's cool. I love the comic. I do love the comic. I think at the end when they got into the whole, all about Robot Man and he and Monster Girl's time on the alien planet and all that kind of stuff, I think it got it just got bogged down and kind of, not it wasn't as good. But the build up and the initial events that they did were really great. But yeah, so I've been wanting to watch it, but I'm afraid, dude. Because it's something I like, And
I've never read the books, but from what Booster tells me, it's pretty accurate. They've made a couple changes. I hope the stuff that annoys me about Mark will be gone. Like he'll grow out of it, basically. But Omni-Man is so good. He's seriously, I don't have the vocabulary to describe it to you. You just got to watch how good he is. His JK's performance throughout that whole thing is fantastic. Absolutely fantastic.
I'm not
the whole
surprised. Time. He's a good actor. Booster, where in the arc did they get up to in season 1?
So when Omni-Man leaves the planet.
Oh, that's way early, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah. But they also have things that happen way later in the comic that they kind of mixed around the timeline and stuff, but they still hit the beats of what happens in those arcs with singular episodes, right?
Mm-hmm.
So maybe there's not as much build up, but I feel like they hit what they need to pretty well.
Especially the last episode.
Okay.
Yeah.
Omni-Man is maybe the best character I've ever seen in television.
Well,
he's so good.
Well, it's interesting, and I think I understand why they probably took some later things and gave for foreshadowing. Because if they only got to the point where Omni-Man and they have the big fight where they leave he leaves Earth, that's the story hasn't even started yet. It hasn't even started. So I kind of get why they would put foreshadowing. Anyway, I'll check it out. It's going to irritate shit
It's
out
kind
of
of like what you said about Jupiter's Legacy. I'm not giving Netflix any money, so I'll find other means of watching it and check it out if it's good.
Sure.
But when the adults are in the room, Invincible's amazing. When it's focused on the younger people, it's terrible. Maybe I'm just getting old. I don't know. But it's not terrible is exaggerating. It's not terrible, but it's way worse. When it's focusing on Omni-Man and the drama with Omni-Man and the other adult superheroes and whatnot, or Cecil, it's unbelievably good. It's
Oh,
really good.
Cecil, yeah.
I really like Cecil as a
I'm not going to
character.
give any spoilers because
And
there's a lot of spoilers to
poor,
give.
poor Cecil. People just need to listen to Cecil, is all I can say when you read the comic. And he's the shadowy government agent, and I was rooting for the guy and saying this guy's right.
Ultimately, yeah.
Ooh.
But anyway, good evening, y'all. Hey, Arlene. And I've seen a couple comments over here. Jupiter's Legacy is a tough read. Super slow start. Yeah, it is. It's more of a drama.
Mhm.
Some of Frank Quietly's best art. I agree 100%. It's really good art, which was what caught my attention. The reason I read it from the beginning. However, I mean, the thing is, like I said with Millar, he's not this amazing, unbelievable writer. It's very, very simple. He's super simple, and I think that works in his favor, in a weird way.
Are you telling me that Nemesis wasn't deep?
I haven't read that.
That's the one where a very Batman-esque character kidnaps a man and forces him to inseminate his sister.
Now,
What?
okay, it's deepish in a sexual way. Fine.
No,
You know.
I was being very sarcastic, just.
Oh, okay, yeah. But I mean, I'm not knocking it. It kind of works for him. I understand the slow read on Jupiter's Legacy. I would agree, but it is more of a character study. They did. I have a feeling what I saw in the early Jupiter's Legacy comics. What was going on with Brandon and stuff. They're probably going to put in season 2 and 3. So it is weird the way they're jumping around, but it's okay. I really, really, really enjoyed when the adults were on the screen. I really enjoyed it. It was good acting. It was well done. Their story is well told. It just this movie this series in particular really demonstrates young actors are not trying. It really does demonstrate this. They're not putting the effort for it. Of course, they're younger. They're not going to be as good as the older. I get that, but
Right.
that's not the point. They're not even trying. It's just half-ass effort, dude.
Mhm.
And it's really sad. Luckily, we didn't see them very much, and the young ones we did see are the drug-addled whore daughter, who's just the worst. But
Yes.
the boy she hooks up with, he's better though. That Persian boy, I guess he's Persian. Hutch's
Is
daughter,
he way too
son.
good for her?
Well, no, he has a plan, but I'm just saying acting wise. Hutch's son, which I think they just call him Hutch as well. Um,
Yeah,
he's he's much better for. He's the best of the young ones anyway.
I would
I w-
agree. Yeah,
yeah.
he was better than the rest of them. Yeah.
Mm. So
The one thing about Invincible though that did annoy me, Booster can attest to this because I was telling him about it, is there's a lot, well, not a lot, but there's a few instances of um, they wrote this and then something that happened, and the only reason this thing happened is because they needed to go to the next episode, right? So, like, it's episodically done.
sure,
So they knew that they were going to have another episode later, so they didn't sort it then, right? Like the writer did, like whoever wrote it, whether it was Kirkman or whatever. And Kirkman wrote a lot of these episodes too, by the way.
yeah,
And that really annoyed me because it was so obvious. Like, there's a part where he and his wife have an argument, right? Nolan and Debbie have an argument, and the argument just stops. I'm like, I've been married a long time. That doesn't happen. That's not how that happens.
Oh,
But the
comments
episode was
on that one.
it does
over.
with me.
So,
It does
but
with
the
me.
episode was over.
It does
So
with me. I don't put up with it.
no, you'll see what I mean when it gets there, Chester. Trust me. Um, but the episode needed to end because they were at their time limit, so it just stopped, and that was it. Because episodically they had to move along, and that kind of stuff happens a couple different times, and that's annoying. But that's just a TV show, right? Like it's not a knock really on Invincible itself. It's just that's what when you're releasing something with an episodic format,
Mhm.
especially if you're gating it weekly, right? Like they did, it came out once a week. That stuff happens, and it's happened since the dawn of television. So it's not really that huge of a deal. But since I've gotten so used to binge watching, they don't really do that in binge watch shows, right? Not as much anyway. They just don't have to because they know everybody's just going to probably watch it all at once or watch it in like one or two sittings or whatever. And they're not trying to time gate it basically so that they
Yeah,
can milk more
it's
money out of
different.
people.
Yeah, it's different.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'll check it out. It's going to annoy me, especially Amber. Why would they choose Amber to be the SJW? That's a
I
odd
don't.
choice.
I don't. I think it's because in the comics she was just kind of a faceless character for Mark to shag.
That's
She
all
had
she
very
was.
little
Yeah,
personality.
that's it. Yeah, she
Yeah,
was just this cute little
she was
thing, but she had
she
a
was
more
a
of a
hump and dump.
Mary Jane personality, though.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's also maybe it's because Kirkman's the one that's overseeing this show, and he's right. Like I said, he wrote a lot of it, a lot of the episodes. He probably knows, or I'm hoping he knows that Eve's way more important of a character.
Yeah.
So he didn't want to mess her up too much. You know what I mean?
That's fine.
So he's like,
Yeah.
okay, if we have to modernize one of these characters, quote unquote, this one, go with that one.
Eve is near perfect as an adaptation.
Oh, good. I'll check it out. And it's so early in the story. I mean, it's so early that it doesn't really matter if they burn the Amber character anyway. I mean, she's not important ultimately.
Oh, I wish. Oh, kid. Oh.
I wish they got rid of her. She is.
I wish Omni Man had heat vision. Oh.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah, well, that's too bad they did that. But you are right about Eve, though. Hopefully, they won't go that direction with it. But anyway, there you go. Two
She a good
superhero
girl.
shows. Both of them seem to be pretty good. Even though when the kids are on screen, it sucks. They're not on screen much. It's mainly the older actors doing their thing really well.
Children suck.
They kind of do. In this case, it's not some big, CG spectacular. It's not. That's some of the weakest points of it is the special effects stuff, particularly the first big fight scene. It's pretty cringy, dude.
It's about the story. It's about character
is.
development in the story. It was nice to see.
Yeah, I agree. The acting is.
You know what
really,
I'd be
really good.
fine with, and I don't know why they don't do it, especially since digital animation can be done very cheaply now. Is a show. I mean, they've done these similar things in the past, even in video games. A show that has his live action actors, right, for most of the dramatic beats or whatever, and then has a cool transition into some kind of animation for all the action. So it'd be cheaper, and maybe they could do more with it. Because a great example, Invincible's action is awesome throughout the whole show.
It's
beautifully
really
animated. Give me that, and then give me live action actors to do the acting part. The dramatic parts. That could be cool. I don't know why anybody's never really tried, especially with superheroes. It's perfect because you could turn the animation to where you need it to be more comic booky into look like a comic book. That could be cool.
It's kind of wonky though, but I get your point. But anyway, check it out. I would say definitely check it out. It's especially if you enjoy good acting because these guys kill it, and it's got some memorable actors. And like I said, I don't know what you think, Eric. You give me your opinion, but I think the casting on each character was perfect with the adults.
I thought they were great. Josh Duhamel. I haven't seen him in a lot other than he was on Vegas with yeah.
Transformers.
Who's he? I was like the guy from Transformers. Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought this is probably the best acting I've seen him do.
Oh yeah.
Brother, I've never seen before, but I thought he was a great actor.
Exorcist.
Okay, and then his best friend,
George.
That's the voice of Anakin Skywalker from Clone Wars, and I didn't.
Penny.
Yes, and he did a great job.
Penny.
Yeah, and the girl's the lady that shagged Iron Man and Iron Man 1, but yeah.
Nice.
But they were all really good. I was really pleased with it. Yeah, I was happy. I sat down and watched it the other night. But I was disappointed that I was able to binge watch it. I've gotten so used to getting a week to see new episodes, and I was like, "Oh, that's pretty cool." I was sitting here drawing and watching this, and I was like, then it ended and said next episode starting in 10 seconds. I'm like, "Oh no!" So I sat here for 5 hours.
No, me too. But that's another interesting thing about it. The only racism in the whole thing is coming out of the black guy. I thought that was interesting, and it's very little, but there is a scene. Yeah. There is a scene, but that is from the black dude. He's the one being racist, and his black dad tells him, "Yeah, maybe you're being an idiot." I thought that was refreshing because you don't see that shit much anymore. But go check it out. I think it's worth the story is worth it. Anyway, let's move on. I do need to get into the second part, but let me see which one I want to cover. I guess we'll do Brie, I guess, and then we'll move on to
Oh, good.
TFT. Go ahead.
What do we have here? New rumor explains why Marvel Studios changed the title of Captain Marvel 2 to The Marvels. So, another rumor from Bounding into Comics. All right,
Yeah,
let's
and
party then.
well, everybody is reporting on the fact that Brie Larson's out, Captain Marvel is out, and this is the same conversation, same thing. Why did they do it? Because they were pushing it, they were talking about it. It's being made, Captain Marvel, Miss Marvel, yada yada yada, and then all of a sudden they changed their tune, which is interesting because they did change their tune. And there's a lot of rumor going around this, and I'm just curious. One other thing, in this picture, Miss Larson, what am I supposed to be looking at here? What exactly am I supposed
Um,
to be looking at?
The
that
lopsided
is
nipples.
a
Yeah,
Barbie doll with just the worst proportions
yeah, that's fair. But
on everything,
yeah,
It's like if
including
you
that
melted a
jaw.
Barbie doll,
yeah, a little
right? You
bit,
Yeah.
just
a little
melted
bit
parts of
melted.
her.
Yeah, but I mean, isn't she one of the ones that hates that male gaze? And it's like, what are you? You trying to stir up trouble there, lady? Huh?
Look, she's wearing it for her, Chester.
Uh huh.
Okay,
For
it's for
her.
her. But I'm
Not
sure
for
if a
you.
absolutely shredded 6'4", blonde-haired, blue-eyed god of a man comes walking by, well, she won't mind if he stares.
That's fair.
Booster.
That's fair. I'm
Yeah.
glad your description of me was pretty apt. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah, whatever, stupid person, this lady. But I don't know. I put the. I'm not going to bother with the article because the same shit you've seen everywhere else. My question is this: do you guys believe for a half a second that Brie Larson is out?
Nope.
no.
Thundera?
I don't care.
Yeah,
One-
well, I don't
One
care
can
either.
one can dream, but
I will not give Disney another penny the rest of my life. They are done.
Fair enough, dude.
Forever boycotted.
Fair enough. It is pretty dumb in my opinion, though, all of this nonsense because I can't even begin to imagine why she wouldn't be. They clearly don't care what we think. Yeah, right. And they haven't cared what we thought in a very long time. So why would you think it would be any different now? So I don't know what to tell you. But
Unless she's become a total bitch to the executives.
become.
well, she
Well,
was. We
to
know she
them.
was because she pissed everybody off. All those other SJWs hate her. But because they did make $1 billion off of her damn movie, fair or not.
No, they didn't.
Allegedly.
Well,
No,
I
they didn't.
I understand that, but I mean their presentation to the world, because the rumors coming out that they weren't happy with the performance of the movie and her acting in it. That's basically the rumor in this article is talking about that she
I also don't
underperformed.
believe that. I also don't believe that Aladdin or the Lion King remake made $1 billion, but they're trying to feed that to us as well.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, yeah, true.
I don't know a person who saw those movies.
Me neither. And my wife's family, especially her mother-in-law, is a Disney insane person, a Disney cultist. I'm talking insane levels to Disney, right? She didn't see those movies in theater. Not at all. Didn't pay a cent to see them.
Yeah, I don't know why they're doing
Still,
it's all coming off the Cinderella success, and I think they really shouldn't have dove down that alley. And see, especially
no.
seeing as they haven't put out any really good animated movies in a while. All they've really done is the Frozen stuff, which is successful enough, especially the second one. But whatever. I don't believe it for a second. You're getting Brie Larson, and I think you're gonna get all 5 films, dude. You're gonna get all 5. That's her contract, and I think you're going to get it.
well, it'll depend on if she wants to stop making them. If she wants to stop making them, then they'll stop. But if Disney's not going to fire her for anything, I mean,
No.
she'd have to come out as a cannibal or something before they'd even consider it. Before they'd even put it on the table.
Like
we-
cannibalism's a deal breaker for them.
Well, she tried to
The
do
mouse
her.
always feasts on its own.
That's true. But she tried to do her YouTube thing. That failed miserably. I haven't seen her in any other work that does anything. So it's the only real money maker she's got going on. She's not going anywhere. Disney's not going to go anywhere with it. You know they're not, especially with Kevin. And, we can't have white people saving the day, Feige. So it's you're getting more of it. I do think it's ironic that the SJW savior of Marvel is some blonde, blue-eyed, or I don't know, is she blue-eyed, blonde-haired white lady. I find that interesting, right?
Very
With
typical.
a 5 head. Yeah.
And with a 5 head, yeah. But a lot
Who
of people
also
did.
got to be Captain Marvel before the Black Woman. Yeah.
Right. Well, that is, according to the comics, though. Rambeau came out after. But anyway,
No,
a
no,
lot
no.
of.
The Carol Danvers was the Captain Marvel after Rambeau.
Right.
Oh, well, but she was in the comic before that, though,
She was
as
Miss Marvel.
a sword agent, right?
And Miss Marvel, yes.
And Miss Marvel. So you're talking about just the name Captain Marvel. I get what you're saying. Okay, okay.
Yes.
But fair enough. But of course, a lot of people have also made the point that she basically is a stand-in for Kathleen Kennedy, and that might well be true. There might be some nepotism going on, not nepotism or nihilism. They're both N-words going on there.
Ooh.
Excuse me. That was perfect.
Thank you. It's all about the timing. Anyway, I'm moving on from this shit. I did have a couple other things to talk
What's
about.
the Star Wars one, Chester? I'm interested in Star Wars one. I watched those yesterday.
I'll get to it in a second. Solomon Kane.
Did you like him, Booster? I loved him.
I loved it, yeah.
Which is probably why the SGWs hate it. But Solomon Kane series is coming. We talked about this. There's a little updates on this. I think it's great. And I like Solomon Kane. I just hope it doesn't suck balls. That's pretty much it. And this movie that came out on Solomon Kane's pretty good. It's pretty good. You might want to check it out. It's one of those little hidden gems that doesn't get talked about a lot. But that movie they came out with so many years back was not bad at all. So I'm looking forward to it. Yeah.
Solomon's such a good name. It's a shame there's not more Solomons in the world.
What about Solomon Grundy?
Ooh.
Well,
yeah. I like Solomon Grundy. I like the character. But he's so easy to manipulate and use. He's a sympathetic villain. Anyway, Anna, let's look at this real quick. They want to talk about. For
There
some
we are.
reason, activists. Go ahead. You read the headline, Booster. Go ahead. Yeah.
Star Wars activists want to. Star Wars activists. Excuse me. Star Wars activists wants to unwhitewash the Bad Batch. Claims the characters are racist.
Okay. Now, I don't know what they're talking about. Everybody here is a clone of a Maori. So, yeah.
Yeah.
They're all Maoris. They're all clones. They try to make them a little distinctive. This guy in the back looks like he's not had a lot of sun, or he's a cyborg or something. It's kind of whitening him out a little bit. But clearly,
That's why they're the
all
Bad
Maori.
Batch. They're the altered clones that were also immune to Order 66.
Okay, and so you've seen this. You watched this then.
Yes.
Okay, well, tell us about it then, because the SGWs are hating it. They're hating it because damn racist. I don't know how, but it's racist. Go ahead, tell us.
Have no idea what it is with these characters, right? But there's another one for you. One of the reasons they absolutely hated it was because of one of the child characters, a Caleb Doom, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Caleb Doom. He was just some white kid, right? And I just thought the character was annoying because I hate child characters.
Mm-hmm.
They're the worst, always. I don't know why they always insist on making child characters. I thought they learned their lesson and were scrappy do a very long time ago.
No, you think, yeah.
You'd think. So this character is white. It turns out he was growing up in Star Wars Rebels or Star Wars Resistance, whatever one it was, right?
Yeah, he's in Rebels. He's the
and he was like
Jedi.
10. So they're freaking out that this white character became tan. Or what? Or this character that was tan and something is white in this. Yeah, that's
fucking cartoon.
That's what they're freaking out about.
Yeah, and it's probably because the story is just a story and there's no wokeness in it, and because anytime that a story doesn't display all of the letter alphabet, I don't know what L B Q Fs, and all the other things, then it's horrible, right? So I'm assuming this story is just a straight up Star Wars story.
Yep, more or less.
Yeah.
And another thing they try to claim, right? There was that small child character you saw earlier, right? That is a female clone of Jango Fett. And I saw some people trying to claim that was a trans character because of that, despite the fact that this character is biologically female. That's the point of the character.
Oh.
And it's also referred to as Omega, so I believe she's the final clone to
Uh
Jango
huh.
Fett.
Oh, yeah. Who cares exactly?
And these people apparently, because they seem to believe she's trans.
Well,
Oh,
it's interesting you
jeez.
mentioned that because there was an article I saw from Clive Barker, and way back in the way back, he was planning. He had written a mummy story, and
Mm.
what he wanted to do was kind of focus on this young boy, and then later is this beautiful woman, and it's a transgender character. He was writing way back, and he wrote these the treatments for this mummy thing, and ultimately they didn't go with what he did, but the treatments he did kind of turned into the Brendan Fraser mummy, and then later
Oh,
the female aspect of what he had written had turned into the Tom Cruise mummy movie. So they did take Clive Barker's transgender idea he had way back, and actually use them segmentedly in those two movies, the series and the movie. So transgenderism is not a new thing. It's not,
Mhm.
you know. And I'm
what?
kind of yeah, it's not new. What do you know, Eric? It's a weird thing.
Yeah.
Nothing new under the sun. Speaking of Solomon, yeah.
Mm.
Um, but I'm kind of surprised because he made in the article Barker made a couple of comments regarding his Hellraiser. Now that's a place I would expect to see some transgenderism or stuff, but unfortunately with the Hellraiser thing, even the first movie, because of limitations and because of the rating system, that movie never became what it's supposed to be. That should have been way X-rated on the edge of acceptability is what the whole point of the Hellraiser series was supposed to be, and it got watered down incredibly. But whatever, I don't know if any of you guys like Hellraiser. No,
No.
I haven't
Yeah,
seen it in a
I do.
long time.
Been a
yeah,
long time though.
yeah. But anyway, there you go. We got to get into our TFT though. Because I'm starting to clock on my time. But interesting, some interesting articles we've covered here. And we spent a lot of time with Jupiter's Legacy, and we talked also about the what's Indestructible?
Star
What's his
Wars.
name?
Invincible.
Invincible.
Invincible. Yeah. And I'm going to check that out, and definitely you guys should check out Jupiter's Legacy. However,
Will do.
it is time to, I think, possibly get into the TFT. What do you guys think? You ready for that? I'm ready for it.
Let's do
Do
it. We'll talk
it.
about UFOs.
Here we go. All righty, so let's get into this. Now, we were talking about UFOs and stuff recently because of the things that have been coming out from the Pentagon. And I thought I would I'm just going to give a little presentation here, and then we'll kind of get into open conversation with the guys here and the chat. If you guys could do me a favor and pay attention to chat, I'm so deep behind it, I can't see the chat right now. So please, keep an eye out for that. But let me just go through this presentation, and then we'll see. We'll see. Now, the interesting things about with UFOs is that it's nothing new. But we're talking specifically here about government releases. Now we know some years back Mexico put out some stuff from their Navy aircraft, or I think it was Navy aircraft, and this was the 11 lights that they tracked for quite a while, and this came out way back, right? Of
Hmm.
course, Chile came out with a very interesting video from their military as well. That this one was a little bit different, and but it was something that they couldn't confirm, right? Of course, as well, the Russians have certainly put out things, and the Russians are much more open and willing to talk about UFOs more than most countries. They're not afraid of it. Take that as you will. But there are many stories from the Russians, and this is one here, particularly from the Russian military. We also have some interesting accounts from the British. There's, of course, the very famous one, which happened way back in the 80s, I think it was, at the Air Force Base. And then, of course, you have the more recent one where there were some, video and sightings and stuff like that that once again their government released and talked about the information. They actually had a guy over there who is in charge of collecting all those information yeah, and reporting on them, and he was allowed to speak about these things very recently, this year actually. So the difference here, maybe, is the fact that we've seen releases from governments before. We've seen the American government make no comment on many things. And if the American government makes a comment, it's usually, oh, it's some gaslight or it's just some reflection off of Venus or whatever, right? The American government never wants to make any open comments about it. However, the past year, we've seen a lot of movement amongst the American government and other governments, just like I said with the British one here, that they're allowing people to start talking about things. We know some years back, the Vatican itself started talking about UFOs, which was odd. Unto itself, in and unto itself, but the for me the interesting thing is the change in policy with the American government, particularly, because usually they deny, they say nothing, or it's something else. They'll never agree or say it's this or that. And these videos we've seen the past month basically are not new. They're from many years ago, and these videos came out over a year ago. Keep that in mind. And they're not just recent. These things came out a year ago, and the American government confirmed openly that they are genuine. And I don't know if you guys paid attention to this, but when they came out with their stimulus package for everyone else in the world except for the people in America who needed COVID relief, remember that one? Yeah, that one.
Hmm.
In there is a line item to create a report on the UFOs and documentation from the American government. It's in that. It's in that bill. It's right in there, right? And that report's coming out in June, it seems like. Official from the Pentagon, and some of the people who've been allowed to speak, and I'm talking about real people. I'm not talking about UFO fanatics or anything like that. I'm talking about actual government people who, even in the interviews they've been giving recently, the past few months, they still don't want to use the word UFO. They say vehicles, unconventional objects, or things like that. They still, these government people don't want to say the word extraterrestrial or UFO. But they have been allowed to speak, and what they're saying is pretty interesting. So my point being is, it feels like the tone is different, right? Particularly from the American government. They've always these. This is not new, and it's not new in such a way. I mean, because if we go back and think about it, aliens have been involved in human culture forever. We've always been talking about them. I mean, if you think about every God story you ever heard in your life, whether it be mythology or from your religion, they're talking about aliens, right? They're people. They're extraterrestrial. They're not from here, right? So this is nothing new. Of course, the Bible is full of spacey visitors and space vehicles and all kind of stuff like that. But for me, the big difference is the fact that the Pentagon's attitude is different. Before I finish out the little presentation I have here, I would like to ask the panel, what do you guys feel? Do you feel that the American government's attitude on talking openly about UFOs has changed in the past year?
Yeah, because they need to distract the public. Absolutely.
Yeah, my wife said the same thing. She said, "Wonder what they're doing now." As soon as she saw it,
Mhm.
right? What do you think, Eric?
Yeah, I kind of agree with that. I mean, they've always been in denial about it,
Yeah.
and probably the main reason they're always afraid what the people would think if they admitted to UFOs, and now they just don't care. So what are they up to?
Yeah, that's the question. Look how paranoid they've made us. But
Yeah,
because they've changed their tune, they really have. And the fact that they're allowing these government people to speak, and understand they're allowing, because when you listen to these interviews, particularly a special operations guy who's been speaking everywhere from London to Germany to America, he's all over the place. He's clearly been cleared by the American government to go out there and spread the message that they want him to spread, because you don't get more government than that dude, right? But yet he's out there doing it. And he's the guy with little goatee and the spike hair. He looks like he's a Marine or something. But he actually was in charge of these things. And he won't use the word UFO. He won't use things like that. But what he did say, there are one of three things. He said either these are items that the American government has created, objects that they've created, and somehow none of the agencies communicate and know this. He said, which seems very unlikely, especially since he's supposed to be the dude in charge of that stuff. Or there's some foreign thing, and he's like, did these foreign entities leapfrog us in technology? That's incredibly worrying. But he says he thinks it's 99% unlikely. Or there's something else. He won't suggest what else they are, but something else. And you've seen some of these people, like the British guy, particularly. He made a comment about the Russians. But the thing is, if the Russians had that technology, you'd be speaking Russian right now. Let's be clear. If the Russians had any kind of technology like that, that run circle around everything else what the American military has, the Russians would be in control of the world. I mean, let's be clear, right? So that's not even it's a stupid option. But nevertheless, the Pentagon is going to be releasing all their UFO files declassified. They said, and some of the people that have been allowed to speak, they are making comments that the videos you've seen, the ones that the government says yes, they're real videos from us, they're nothing. They're saying that there are things that are so much clearer. And he was very excited that they were finally going to start talking about it. I thought that was interesting from that guy. So keep in mind that the Pentagon and therefore the government has made a decision that they're going to declassify. They're going to start talking about, and they're going to be giving you information. And there's a big report which COVID paid for coming out in June. And of course, the videos that we saw. It was one from 2004. It's the USS Nimitz event. And this one, the pilot has been allowed to speak openly, and he has. And I thought he was a good person to do that because his opinion is just like, wow, it was the coolest thing I ever seen in my life. It was interesting. And that's, of course, the Tic Tac incident that we've seen that video very clearly now. But I thought he was a good person to speak because he wasn't, he's not a UFOologist or he's not anything like that. He's just a retired pilot, and he just thought it was the coolest thing he ever seen in his life, and that's kind of his opinion. Then the other two videos are coming out of the USS Roosevelt incident. Now the Nimitz one here was in 2004. The Roosevelt incident was in 2015. This video here I think is better. The other one is just a little teeny thing moving real quick. You can't see. If you watch the video on this one, this is obviously an object moving very oddly in the sky. But anyway, this kind of covers what we know has happened, particularly in this year. And in June, we supposedly we're supposed to be getting some big bombshell report. So let me come back over here the other side so I can see what's going on. And let's talk about it a little bit because I am curious about the distraction aspect of it, but I'm also wondering if it might also, let me just put out, play devil's advocate. It also might be something that just so much evidence is coming out all the time from all over the world that they just can't they can't get ahead of it, and it's just better to get ahead of it by releasing it. What about that option?
Possible, especially considering everybody has a high definition camera in their pocket now.
Yeah,
it's pretty much impossible to cover something like that up. They almost have the mechanisms to do it, but not yet. They'll get them eventually. But I think another possibility is what was it, 2 years ago now? I think or a year, maybe only a year ago actually. Man, 2020 was such a blur. The CIA admitted that they not only have made contact with extra-dimensional beings, they do so regularly. They just admitted that. They say they talk to them on a regular basis. They also admitted that
I started imagining what their conversations are.
They also admitted that there's multiple dimensions. There's, they can, using hallucinogenics in different ways, they can literally take your consciousness up and down dimensions, all sorts of stuff. All sorts of stuff. They admitted that they have evidence of multiversal theory being correct, or at least in some capacity correct.
Yeah.
All this stuff, they came out, I think it was before the coup, so I'm pretty sure it was 2019.
Mhm.
They just admitted it. Just like,
Yeah.
yeah, we have all that. That's all real. And that was it. That was the end of it. It didn't blow up all over. It wasn't
No.
tons of news stories like you would think. They just admitted they've been talking to some extra dimensional entity. What? What?
Yeah, well, and the slow leak of information has been over the past 5-6 years actually. This
Yeah.
last year has been ramped up a lot. But the other thing to get into, and I want to get Eric's opinion on it as well. I just want to show this website real quick. I don't know, UFO Insight, I guess it's called. But this one here will post things that happen daily, sometimes multiple days. This is just April. Look at all these events. Right? Look at March, and it just goes on and on and on and on, and is archived well into the past. And
Yeah.
the thing that's interesting with this, even if you discount 99% of all sightings, you're still left with thousands and thousands of sightings. This phenomena has been going on a very long time. Like I mentioned in human history, it's nothing new. But it also, for me and a lot of people, it's like, wow, it's probably American stuff. And when we, just American technology. But because especially if you understand like the stealth fighter and all those kind of the Aurora project and all those stuff, those things were developed in the 60s and 70s, guys. Right?
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, you're 40 decades. 40 years,
Oh,
4 decades.
maybe we should just let them run the world. Holy
Right,
shit, they're advanced.
you're there. We're 4 decades outside of the most modern craft we're allowed to see. 4 decades, and
Yeah.
we know they've developed better things. We know they have. They just don't show them to us. They won't tell them about it because they're top secret. But a lot of people think all of these amazing planes they see in the air that the government shows you are the wow. They're so modern. They're not, dude. They're from before you were born, right?
Yep.
So that I thinking is valid. But
Well, the other thing, the reason why I brought that up is because I think it is all tied together. I don't personally believe interstellar travel is feasible or even makes sense, at least not in the concept like we would think of a plane. Now, could they be from another planet in our same galaxy, whatever? Sure. But I don't think they flew here faster than the speed of light like in Star Trek. I think, if anything, they used dimensional tunneling to do so. Because
Oh my lord.
it's just too big of a distance. It would take way too long, and we don't even know if it's possible to go fast enough to cover it in any kind of reasonable amount of time.
right.
So I think what the reason why I brought up the dimensional stuff is because they already admitted something huge like that, and then I think that was maybe a prelude to them admitting, yeah, we've had contact with them. This is how they travel. They're actually interdimensional entities, stuff like that, instead of interstellar entities. That's what I think is if anything they're going to do, because unless you're just a complete normie, I think pretty much everybody can accept the reality that we're not alone. Humans are not the only species of intelligent existence in
Well,
existence.
I don't know that there's many people that disagree with that.
Yeah.
That's not the point. Have they been here? Just to add kind of little bit of information to Thundero's point, however, do keep in mind it's been over a decade ago that white paper came out from quite a few esteemed scientists stating that they have scientific proof that parallel dimensions are real. Right. So this
Yes.
is not a new concept. It's not a science fiction concept. Science. There have been several white papers written on that, and it's the general consensus of science that parallel dimensions are a real thing. Right.
Well, not
S-
only that, but you have the mega collider or the super colliders that they've been building. They're even building a bigger one, from my understanding, and they pretty openly say that the objective is to open a portal to another reality.
oh
Like,
yeah, the
they're not
CERN,
hiding that.
project. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. That's true. Interdimensional blood sucking goblins. What do you think about all this, Eric?
Well, I don't know. I mean, I believe there's alien species out there. There's got to be. I mean, you look at how many stars are in the sky. It has to be. Have they been here? I really don't know, but advancement in technology, and like Thundero said, everybody's got an HD camera in their pocket. I mean, the government can only hide stuff for so long. Not saying the government can't hide stuff, because they obviously can, but some stuff they're just not going to be able to. If people being able to see UFOs in the sky, recording them, posting them to the website, eventually they're going to have to. Well, eventually they are. They're going to tell us what they think of them.
Well,
It's a it's crazy, but I still think they're up to something else because they've
yeah,
never really cared.
I agree. I agree. And that lackadaisical attitude they've taken is why I've always thought it's just their own technology. But let's take their feigning of ignorance here at hand for a second, and assume that for decades and decades, going all the way back to even the Foo Fighters of World War II, right? That the American
I
government
love
and
the
other
Foo Fighters.
yeah, okay. And the other governments around the world have been dealing with this, and there has been this unknown threat that's been flying around our skies for decades upon decades upon decades, maybe even centuries. Let's take that as ridiculous as it sounds as truth. Well, why would that clearly would be incredible panic from these upper up people? Why would it translate into this strange declassification? Because the only thing I would add to that is in a lot of these people who have been allowed to come out and speak, they are using the word threat a lot, right? But
Yep.
if it is something that they don't know, it's truly unidentified, then that means for literally a century, they have been panicking over it, right?
Yeah. Um, if you can take this with as much of a grain of salt or not, if you like the man like I do, Mr. Jones, Mr. Alexander Emmerich Jones, doesn't talk about UFO stuff very often.
No,
But every time he has, he's been fairly consistent on what he said, what he thinks it is, and what he's been told that it is. And the blood sucking vampires or whatever, the spirit multi-dimensional spirit vampires, whatever he said on Joe Rogan, that came off like so completely crazy, like ridiculous.
he's good at
Well,
that.
right after that, the CIA basically admitted that's what's happening. They didn't say anything about vampirism, but they said, yeah, there's multi-dimensional entities. We've
And
contacted
also
them.
vampires.
And
Yeah,
also
Oh, no,
also
they're totally
vampires.
it's also vampires.
By the way,
By the way, well, and some of that you're talking about with Alex, and you're right, he doesn't talk about UFOs very much. He's more politically based. But and
Yeah,
but the interesting thing, some of that he took out of clearly to me, he's taken out of Michael Tsarian. Now,
yeah, probably.
Tsarian has written many, many books. He's a great speaker, very interesting stuff. I don't know how much I agree with or not agree with, but he's a pretty good researcher. And he's the one that's played out in very good detail the idea that the elites here for at least several centuries have been working with extra dimensional beings intentionally to try to get off the planet, and they're exchanging blood and death for technology.
Hmm.
And it sounds weird and odd, but you have to go listen to it. And he makes a compelling argument, at least.
Well,
So,
and here's the crazy thing is now we have a modern space race where people are literally trying to get off the planet.
oh yeah, they really are. Yeah,
I'm just saying, it's
yeah,
all kind of congealing here a little bit.
it
We
is.
have we have them admitting multidimensionalism is real. That people often when they have these weird psychedelic experiences are literally what they think is happening is what's happening. Their mind's going to a different dimension. Uh, we have now they're being their hand was almost kind of forced too, which is weird because it was added by the Trump administration that they would have to disclose this. That's who did it, by the way. That's who made them put that language in the bill.
Yeah.
Um, that's weird. That's a pretty strange thing to just randomly throw. Hey, also all the UFO stuff. Let's have it. We'll
Well,
be having that.
now, keep in mind that one of the things that we've always thought was weird, and it's not just us, I think it's everybody. When Trump went into the White House before he took the presidency and he spoke with Obama, which is something all presidents do, He went in. He
All
was
presidents speak to Obama, yeah.
well, no, they all speak to the former president who's still in there.
And
And
Obama's like, hey, and I haven't left.
But they
well,
don't come out looking like a ghost,
they don't come out
usually.
looking like a ghost. And he spoke. He was only supposed to be a 10-minute little cordial thing, and they were in there for what, hour and a half, 2 hours. And when they came out, he was white as a ghost. He clearly
Yep.
had been shook. Clearly been shook.
Yep.
And that's now Biden
Now,
being shook
Chester,
is a daily thing, but
do
Trump,
you remember what
he
he
don't
said?
do shook, dude.
Do you remember what Trump said because they gave their little mini press conference him and Biden did, or him and Obama did? And Trump said, because somebody asked him, "What did you guys talk about?" And he said, "Well, we mostly just talked about, the situation of this, that, or another thing, but then we also talked about something. We talked about these really high flying assets that we have. It's some wording like that."
He
I'm
did,
like,
yeah.
what is he talking? Is he talking about aliens? Because that's what I immediately thought of when he said that. What does that mean? What does high flying assets mean? What does that mean, Trump? But he never went in any deeper. He just left it at that.
Yeah.
I'm like,
That's all I'm giving you. Figure it out.
But then again, he forced that language, which we, like I said, was in the bill. I don't know. It's interesting. This is not the first conversation people have had about government leaked, video coming out of fighter jets. But I feel personally that the government's attitude has changed in the past year. And I'm curious to see what comes out in June. Will it be interesting or will it be much to do about nothing? It could be either. Of course, the thing is, they've been chatting about this, but not many people are paying attention. I think because we said from the beginning that if they're doing this, then what are they really up to? It's just a red
mm-hmm.
flag distraction, which could be. But the thing is, they're not getting the push on it that they wanted, and the apathy from the public is interesting on this, because you would think everybody and their brother would be talking about it. Nobody is. Even though it's
I
been on
think
Fox and ABC, NBC, these main networks are doing full interviews with these guys and talking to these guys. Go check it out yourself. The keep in mind, NBC and stuff like that, they can be jackasses politically, but they are very strict in what they put on the on the air, guys. They don't sit there and talk about openly with people about real aliens. They'll do some kind of mystery show, but they don't do that. Those networks do not do that, but they're doing it.
it's very fascinating to me how there's been, even because you would have thought, even with the other thing, with the multi-dimensional stuff, that would have had like a impact, and no, it didn't. Trump dominated everything for so long
Yeah.
that they didn't have anything else to talk about but how many scoops of ice cream the man ate, or how we like to eat a steak, which is still an abomination. Donald, what are you doing burning steak ketchup? Get out of here.
It's not like world news, but that needed to be addressed.
Yes. But he's gone.
That's why he should have been impeached.
There you go.
Yeah.
So, if anything, they're not getting the reaction they want. I think mainly because of the coof nonsense, and because I think a lot of the population, we've all grown up with the internet, a bunch of us, so we kind of are just like, yeah, UFOs are real. I don't know anybody my age who doesn't think they're aliens of some description, that there's or at least some kind of serious fuckery afoot, because there's just too much evidence to be like, oh, well, that's all just fake. What?
Yeah.
From all over the world, different cultures, different people, all faked it just for a laugh? That's impressive. That's impressive. That's commitment to a bit. I like it. I can
believe that, yeah.
Well, Bush, you've been real quiet. You have an opinion?
Oh, you don't want to know my opinions.
Oh, fair enough. All right. Yeah.
Of course we do.
I just think it's all bull.
Well, no, that's a fair argument, dude. I mean, the very first thing we said when I asked you when I started this conversation, everyone here said, well, what are they really up to? Right? It's a fair argument. And we have the chat making similar arguments. Like GOP is saying, also check out the documentary Mirage Men. Yeah, well, that's one where the government's going around trying to make people believe in alien stuff. They've been doing this for a long time. They want you to be believing in the hokey ufology crap. Now, is
Yep.
that simply some distraction, or is this simply look over here at that because the truth is much scarier? Is this I mean, what's the point of doing that? They do these things all the time. They're constantly trying to control your psychology and control the population. This is a normal thing. That's another thing to take into account with this conversation. Why has the Pentagon, the government, why have they changed their tack? Because they have. They clearly have. So what's the point of this? Is it a red flag that they're simply trying to get your attention over here for something else? The country's so distracted anyway. Does it really necessary to do that, or they just can't get ahead of it anymore, and they just need to release it and be done with it? I mean, there could be other options we're not even thinking about, but it's something is a little different. It is certainly different. I'm
Hmm.
not going to sit here and say that it's a real thing or not a real thing. We've already stated that obviously everyone understands there are other life forms out in the universe. Of course, there are. The question is, they're here. Now, me personally, even though Booster thinks it's all bullshit, I personally think if there are people here from other places, whether they be planets or dimensions or what have you, I say they've been here for a very long time. This
Yeah.
is not new. They've been here a very, very long time. And this ties in with a lot of the ancient stories you guys have heard me rail on about over and over. Because the original stories, the oldest stories we have, are talking about space aliens coming here and genetically engineering monkeys to be their slaves. That's the
Yep.
oldest stories we have. And if you're a Christian or a Muslim or a Jew, you believe the same thing because that's what your stories tell you, right? So it's not a new story, it's an old story. And if there are actual visitors here, I don't even know that they're visitors because the original story tells us, if we want to take that and connect it to this conversation, well, they were here before we were, right?
Hmm.
So I don't know what to tell you. Eric, you got something to add to this?
The SJW is the aliens.
Oh, that's probably true.
I
Confirmed.
hope they come
Yeah.
and take them. Yeah, they're more evolved. Well, let them, guys. You got, yeah, you guys are. You're more evolved than us. You should go with the aliens.
Mhm.
Just
Yeah,
that.
you're
And
way smarter.
and please
Yeah,
And
you
take
go up
Elon
there.
Musk with
You're
you.
so right.
Please take
You're
Elon
so
Musk.
right.
Well,
Whoever
Booster.
thinks
So you
Elon
think,
Musk was funny.
Booster? I have a question for you, my friend. My
What's
friend.
that?
So you think all the UFO stuff is BS, or just the government talking about it is BS?
Oh, all of it.
Every last bit of it, huh?
Yeah.
You are the first person I've ever met under the age of 40 to tell me that.
Yeah.
we could be right.
Yeah,
I mean, it's full.
could be.
Yeah,
That's a
Completely
hell of a con, though.
possible.
That is a hell of a con.
Yeah, well, and what's the end game? That's my question. What's the end game in the con?
The
What's the
lols.
point? The laws are just to keep people,
The
confused
vols.
and
No, they've convinced us. They've convinced us that the Earth is round for decades now.
they
So
have
they can pull a con, man. They can pull a
bastards.
con.
Yeah. Speaking of great con men, Elon Musk is one of the best con men since Thomas Edison. That guy's got them all tricked, man.
It's impressive.
Yeah.
It's impressive.
I'm just saying that all these UFO reports are being made by science bitches.
Fair enough. Fair enough. I'm glad you come to these conversations, Booster. But
Science is a liar sometimes. Booster.
Science is a
often
liar.
Yeah.
Sometimes. Shut up, science bitch.
Poor Neil deGrasse Tyson.
Oh, he's a liar all the
Tyson is-
time.
You know, what's
he's
funny?
definitely a science bitch.
Oh,
Yeah.
definitely. I got up early today, and I was doing a little bit more research before I put that presentation together, just making sure I had all of my ducks in a row for what I wanted to say. And I was watching some videos this morning, and I had Neil deGrasse Tyson on, and she says, "Oh, it's that actor guy. What's he doing?" I thought that was
Oh.
hilarious, dude. I thought that was
Actor
hilarious.
Well, yeah, he certainly loves the look of a camera to his face, doesn't he?
He does. He does.
like
On
dark
other, I don't want to
information.
get into it because I'm really kind of cutting into my time, but just keep in mind that there is some other interesting things going on. Talk about distractions. There are interesting things going on because there's been a lot of evidence and a lot of actual reports. I mean, real reports, not the nonsense you see on TV, that are coming out that are showing that the comment that China had made, back in January of 2020, that the American government was responsible for Wuhan. Well, it's starting to look like they were half right. They were doing it. It's certainly the Chinese government, but the funding of the Wuhan labs was the American government. And
Well, of course it was.
those guys that are coming out and have been talking like, oh no, it didn't happen in the lab. Oh no, 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 over and over and over. They seem to be the ones that are guilty. And there's some real evidence coming out. And you know who else is getting connected to this shit? Frickin' Fauci.
Yeah.
Now, does that
Just
change your
echo-
opinion a little bit? No, I mean, seriously. This guy's been out front, in front of the camera for a freaking year and a half, going on and on and on about the bullshit, changing his mind and opinion every 2 days, right?
Yeah.
And now we found out that this guy was directly connected to the shit? Uh-huh.
Mhm.
Uh-huh. Now, that's a big
Interesting.
report coming out. There's a lot of evidences indicting some pretty high-end people. There might be a distraction opportunity right here for that, don't you think?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I knew that last year, Chester.
Yeah, I know.
That was
but
that's an open. That's kind of an open secret. You see, the media just doesn't talk about it, or they brush it off like it's conspiracy theory. But it's absolutely true. He was donating money to that lab years ago. For years, he's been doing it. Him, Obama did it.
Yep.
Whole bunch of people did.
Yep.
Were giving money to that lab where the virus outbreak didn't start. It just happened to start right next to it somehow.
And we
Somehow.
No,
It
right.
just happened right next to it.
And we talked about that in the beginning. We talked about these Western funders of that. We did. But I'm
Yep.
saying it's a little different now because what's happening is not only are there reports coming out, there are actually documentation signed by these people, and there's even video. So what's coming out is a very harsh indictment against these people and their involvement in what happened in Wuhan. It's a heavy indictment on China, but it's also an indictment on the virology community within the American government. It's a little different. There's actual evidence now instead of opinion, and I'm kind of wondering if this might be the distraction they're using to get people to stop talking about it. It's probably not, but I mean, it's just the thought that came into my head. That's what I'm trying to say.
I think the right people are talking about it, so they don't care.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is under their radar. They say nobody's going to believe this. You know, we've got control of the media now, so they're not going to believe it anyway. There's something else going on. There's something deep going on.
Yeah, no, I agree. But what do you think it could be? Speculate, Eric. We're not a real show, so we can speculate all we want.
If I had to guess, this is the farthest out guess I've got. Not only will they reveal all their files to us, they will reveal aliens to us.
Yeah,
They've been in control for decades.
I think
we can't work with them anymore.
Could be. I think it might be a little
That's
bit
kinda
more
crazy,
mundane
but
than
yeah.
that. I think it might be a little bit more mundane than that. Their ridiculous and intentional reactions to COVID is about to destroy pretty much modern life for a lot of people, for a huge segment of the modern world, because we're about to have massive gas shortages in America, especially.
Yeah.
And then followed by food shortages, because you can't spend the first 4 months of growing season not letting the farmers grow and then expect the food to be in the stores the next year or the year after.
Right.
So I think that's a big part of it. So they're trying to get out in front with some sensational nonsense. Might be even what you said. Like they might go that far with it just to try and get people motivated and united and blah blah blah. Because the food, the oil, the gas and food shortages, unless something changes, are coming.
Yeah, but those are
lumber,
intentionally
chicken,
created,
everything.
though. Those are intentionally created, though.
Well, yeah, it's all intentionally created. They want control.
Mhm.
They create the disaster and the crisis so that they can sell you the solution.
No, fair enough. They do that all the time. But Booster, I'm going to put my tinfoil hat on. And I want you to be the responder. So you ready? Are you ready? Okay,
Yep.
good. Okay, Booster's ready. Here's my tinfoil hat. Complete tinfoil hat, by the way. Maybe because if you take in the religious aspects of it, the Vatican's been talking about aliens for years now. And there's been this slow dissemination coming out of various governments around the world and religious organizations. And now the American government is finally come to this point, supposedly. Maybe the gods are returning, a la aliens.
Ooh.
No,
I
seriously.
hope they're vengeful gods and this world gets burned. Cause
Well, if we read the stories of them, they're pretty much dickheads, yeah.
Humanity deserves it.
Yeah, we got it coming.
We had a good run. We got some nice stuff in there, some Beethoven, a little Mozart in there. We got some nice, beautiful things. Da Vinci did some cool stuff, but other than that,
It's okay.
humanity's just been a shit show.
Well,
Just an
Okay.
absolute disgusting blight on this beautiful planet.
well, if we keep in mind the old stories and from whatever culture you'd like, one of the kind of reoccurring themes you do see with the gods or aliens is that they come and go. They're not
Yeah,
always here, and then they
Why?
return.
Do they have other
They're
planets? Are they busy?
I don't know. I'm just saying that it's a common theme throughout religion and mythology that the gods are not always here and they return. The stories of the
So
gods
they're just
returning is
lazy.
quite
What I'm
common.
hearing.
Maybe they're lazy, yeah. So what do you think, Booster? What's your take on that idea?
I think you guys have all been on the devil's lettuce,
Fair enough.
and you need Jesus. You need to go to church. A lot
Well,
of you.
Jesus would be an alien. I just, so you know.
No, see, oh no, you're not allowed to call Jesus an alien.
Well, he's the son of God, and
Booster.
God is not from this
That's an
place.
alien. Yeah.
He's an alien. Yeah.
Oh,
Extraterrestrial, indeed.
great. No, E.T. is a biblical story. I get.
Well, I mean, it is, Booster. Every
Well, that's
God
another
story we
angle,
have,
too.
they
On a
are
tail.
extraterrestrials, are they not?
That's another angle too.
E.T.
Chester,
was resurrected.
Yeah.
that
Oh, my lord.
that Joshua Hughes just put in the chat. That's actually, you see, a lot of the prophetic things out of the Bible are that when God comes back, Jesus returns, right? Like you're talking about, that the armies of the world are going to try to fight him because they're going to see him as an invader. Maybe they're planning that because we know that a lot of the elite take all that stuff as true. They believe it, and they're trying to make it happen because apparently they think they're going to win. I don't know why, but they genuinely think they can make the end of the world happen. They're trying to do that. That's part of their goal. I don't know what the end game is for them, what they think they're going to accomplish with that, but we know that is, I mean, that's reality. That some of these people are that fucked up in the head that they would like to be the ones to start the apocalypse. Please, thank you.
Yeah.
What? I don't know why, but they would. So let's say that's all legit, right? Let's say all of it could happen. It's all possible. All those prophecies are realistic and real, and that's what they're trying to make happen. Well, this would be how you set up that narrative of we got to fight the bad aliens, and the bad alien would be Jesus Christ, basically in that equation.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Now, if the prophecies are all true, then why would the one that says, well, they're going to try, and he's going to wipe them out with one laser beam out of his mouth, be untrue? I don't know, but apparently they have some angle that they're playing at here.
Damn, Booster, the Jeebus is the Terminator. That's awesome.
Pretty much, yeah.
But tinfoil hat off. I have a feeling this report and thing that comes out in June is going to be a big load of nothing.
Big old
Fluff,
nothing
fluff.
burger.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what it was. That's the reality.
Yeah.
That's what it's really going to
Y'all
be.
nerds on acid, man.
I wish.
I love Booster is the dissenter.
Yeah, when did that happen?
I know.
Well, Booster, according to the CIA, if you take enough acid, you can travel to other dimensions
That's right.
consciously.
You can.
So
that just sounds like something they wrote while on acid.
Probably. Just go join Joe
Listen,
Rogan.
man.
He takes those trips regularly.
I was in the 8th dimension the other day talking to Zulala, and
You
Zulala said,
Well, I did it, dude. I did it.
Goodness.
you don't
Write it
believe
down,
I'm talking
write
to
it
Zulala? Get
down.
science bitches in here! Get the science bitches in here!
Get the nerds in here. Write it down. I'm
All right.
freaking out.
He's freaking out. All right, guys. I've got to go to work, so I've kind of come to the end of what I can do here. But interesting conversations today. Some definitely recommendations of things to go check out, but also some
Acid.
acid. You go check out acid
Yeah.
in
Try some acid.
Jupiter's Legacy and Invincible. But also some interesting ideas on aliens. And this is not going away. There is a big report coming out. They even got frickin' Tucker talking about aliens now, Tucker Carlson. So they're going to make a thing of it.
Is he doing his thing where he has his lip open the whole time and he has a look of disgust?
Yeah, he does
That's
that
my
really
favorite
well.
thing about
Yeah,
Tucker.
yeah, Tucker's awesome. On that, yeah. But they're going to make their thing. They're going to make a report. I have a feeling it's either going to be earth shattering or it's going to more than likely be just nothing really. Just a couple more videos that are grainy and unclear, and some speculation allowed to just stir. I have a feeling it's more likely going to be that. I hope it's the former. I hope that we're going to get some just a big disclosure, and then we can sit and think about what they're really up to. But however, it's coming, so we'll cover it when it does. But it is always fun to put the team full hat on, though. I do enjoy that. Booster doesn't, though. He's a party pooper. He doesn't like
Oh,
team
big
full
old party
hats.
pooper.
Yeah, he doesn't like speculation.
Yeah,
He's
I'm gonna speak later. I have the right
Because
to
he
make fun
is
of you.
the alien.
oh, he's the government.
What?
He's been hiding this whole
You
time, Eric.
you have no evidence. Don't listen to that.
Oh, I'm choking.
That was pretty good. That was pretty good.
What?
Pretty good. All right,
Next
guys.
time.
I gotta go though. I gotta get myself out here working. Daily grind. We'll be back tomorrow, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Talk about comic books. There's a bunch of stuff to talk about. Actually, there's a whole bunch of articles I've kind of put on the side for tomorrow.
Nice.
Should be fun. But anyway, go ahead, guys, and give your closing comments, and we'll get out of here.
Yeah, Booster, go.
I'm currently playing a video game where I'm striking down American bald eagles with a machine gun.
Sweet.
They are surrounding me. I'm in trouble. They, for some reason, take a lot of hits. This is America. I am 1v1ing America right now. Please send
And
help.
losing, it sounds like.
Yeah, I'm getting my ass kicked by America.
There you go. As it should be.
Oh, I have not much to add to that other than the truth is out there and we're going to find it one way or the other.
Whether we like it or not, even. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Big old truth enema coming right at you.
Yeah, yeah. Eric?
Bow down to the alien overlord Booster before it's too late.
That's right. Before it's too late. We got lucky, Eric. We
I
got
will
ourselves
cut
in
you.
good position. We could be good toadies, I think.
Oh, we could, yeah,
Mm.
yeah.
Yeah.
I apply for official feet washer. I will just I'll do the feet washing. You guys can handle his balls. Okay?
No, I'm the pie maker. I do the
I will be
pies.
merciful to you all. You have entertained me for so long.
That means Eric has to handle the balls all by himself. Damn.
Well, you gotta do what you gotta do,
Gotta do
man.
what you gotta do.
I mean,
You
you know,
just
Eric's
fucked up,
already been
alright.
great at it. So why would I change ball washers now?
That's fair. That is fair. All right, guys. We'll check you out tomorrow. Thanks for coming. That was fun. Later.
I just shot down a helicopter with a revolver. Later.
Bye.
This game kicks ass.